again. So I'm going to start by welcoming you all. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Probably you are surprised that we are having such welcoming, and why I'm saying good morning, it's because, well, at my place it's just perfectly noon, but probably we are having people with different, we have participants from Australia, Middle East, Mexico, Brazil, Lativa, so we try to be as inclusive as possible. So on behalf of CPEX Global, I'm Anastasia, and I would like to welcome you all to ISO 12647, heading for printing process, conformance, and standardization. You might all know that in Germany, there are 250 printers that are ISO certified. So this is important to be ISO 12647 if you are associated with the printing business, either flexographic, offset, or rotogravure. So in this session, we have an amazing trainer, Dr. Abhay Sharma. Hello, welcome.
Good morning.
Who has an amazing professional experience in color management and that particular ISO implementation. In this session, he will provide you insightful learning for various parts of that, requirements, implementation criteria, etc. Give back voice to Dr. Abhay Sharma, that is going to do the great presentation for us today. I will remind you about the break in 1 hour or so, so everyone can feel comfortable and have their needs met. Thank you very much. The mic is yours, Doctor.
Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you, Anastasia. Great introduction. So welcome. We have, this is our title for today is graphic technology, and we're heading for process conformance and standardization. We're going to be talking about color, about numbers, measuring. And here you see a number, ISO 12647 is one of the main standards that we'll be talking about. Industry is very reliant on standards. Standardization gives printers more choice in what equipment and software they buy. And this is not true. Those of us with gray hair, they were very proprietary systems, and you had to stay with Cytex or Crossfield, or you were a Kodak customer, and there was no interchange. And so before ICC, everybody did their own file format, and you couldn't, and you had to just buy the same system all the time. You couldn't upgrade that. A new scanner system, you had to stay with the same. So this standardization, now we take for granted that the PDF can go for any product from CTP, from design, right through. So this has really been helpful for us. Standardization gives printers more choice. You can just buy any software now, any hardware, and everything integrates and works. Ability to perform work for customers around the world and in different markets. And this is so important. Many of us may be printing for a global brand, and sometimes it may be a European-based headquarters or a US-based headquarters, and there'll be two very different standards. And so as long as we know which one it is, we can just dial it in. And light source is one of those. D50 tends to be the standard in North America, while D65 is often used in Europe. So knowing where our customer is from and just telling us that number, what does that number mean? We're able to quickly dial it in. Standards mean interoperability, predictable output, and here a happy customer. So everybody is happy when we try to follow some system. I learned to drive in the UK, but now I live in Canada, and this is maybe what my driving is like. And so I'm never sure which side of the road to drive on. But if everybody trains in one system and then uses that system, we don't get this and everybody's safe on the road. Apart from Apple, Apple can make their own standard. They're big enough. And when we are all, our companies here are the size of Apple, then we can do what we like. But until we are that big as Apple, we have to follow these standards. And you can see how easy and useful it has become for everybody in terms of standards. So we're going to use many terms today, and we've already been using terms. You already hear these terms. They're commonplace practices that are called standardized ways of working, so in-house practices, and that's fine, and things do work very well that way. When we get a bit bigger, then we talk about specifications, and David on the call from Australia did talk about one of the specifications that he uses, which is the ID Alliance set. Then there are standards, and most of our discussion today is about standards, and ISO stands for the International Standards Organization, and this is really international. And then there's certifications, and CPEX, our sponsoring company here today, our organizer, offers certifications, as well as down the bottom of the screen here, there's ID Alliance and FOGRA certifications. So we may use all of these. They apply in different scenarios, in different situations. But at the top of the level, at the top of the hierarchy is the print standards, ISO standards. Any questions on that so far? The reason that the reason that these are successful is that they're achievable in practice. So these have come up, all of these printing processes and standards have come up from real use. So they haven't been developed somewhere on Mars or somewhere artificially. They've come about through practice, through real numbers. And in fact, here is one of those press sheets. So this was this press sheet that made Grackle, and basically the ID Alliance. It was printed with black backing, but you can see that it's a real press sheet. And so real data is made, these standards are made from real data, so they're achievable. Most of them are quantitative. So they have some numbers and we can then say we meet the standard or we don't. And they're created with wide consensus. Here in these pictures at these meetings I've been attending, there are, here is Craig Reevy from Fujifilm and then William Lee from Kodak. So Fujifilm and Kodak right next to each other, Microsoft, Apple together. This is Rainer Prosi at the JDF meeting, Margaret Motamed from EFI, one from Heidelberg, one from EFI. So all the companies have collaborated to make these, and that's why they work for us. Here's one of the slides we're going to see during today's presentation. And here, the point I'd like to make is that we're printing to the numbers. And so some people often ask me when I do these presentations, well, which gamut should I use? Which profile should I use? And really, it doesn't matter. What matters is that if you and your customer agree to gamut 1 or you agree to gamut 5, you both agree to that, and then you print to that, and you check to that, and life is good. So it's a numerical system. Both parties agree, and then there's no surprises. It's achievable because it's arrived at from a printing process. So these are achievable, and really, it doesn't matter which one we choose. We both have to agree, and then we verify that we're at. So it's printing to the numbers. It's not just looking at stuff, and that's how the system works. So we don't do this way anymore. We do it to the numbers. Surprises, everybody's happy, and we have repeat customers. Quick game to tell you and show you. I'm going to chat this to demonstrate something. I would like, all right, David, you spoke earlier. I'm texting a number to David. And maybe I text anybody else. If you put your hand up, I will send you a number. I'd like you to describe that the number in 1, 2, or 3 words. Who else do we have here? Let's do the two Davids.
Just in case, remember you can use me for that game.
Ah, okay. Yes. All right. All right.
All right.
So, yeah. So I've texted numbers to the two Davids. Anybody else want to play this game? Let's do somebody from Gulf Carton. So.
Yeah, send it to me, no problem.
Who is that?
Zia.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Did you want me to type the reply?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So to 3 or 4 of our people on the call, I have sent a number, and I'd like them to describe that color in 1, 2, or 3 words, trying to keep the minimum number of words such that everybody else can guess it. So David Crowther, I've given you a number in the chat privately. In 1, 2, or 3 words, you tell us which color I've asked you to describe, and let's see if we can guess it. Okay, you can read it out. Yeah, you describe it. So David said aqua blue. So if David described aqua blue, which color do you think he was talking about? Anastasia, I'll give you one as well.
Sure, sure. I think if he is saying.
Yeah. So what do we think, folks, is aqua blue? Wow, it's not easy.
5 or 11.
We have 20, we have 5, we have 11. Of course, I don't know what you're seeing on your screen. So really, this is usually done in a controlled situation with the same output. And so yes, exactly. People's screen, whether it's Mac or PC, will be very different. Yeah. Okay. So we've got 20. We've got 13. David, what was the answer to aqua blue? David Crowther. Yeah.
11.
Wow. Okay. Well, on my screen it looks very green, but maybe on others. David Oliva, what you describe your color? David Oliva, and then Anastasia, you describe yours.
Okay. We have the name of that color in Polish. So I'm going to check it out. Maybe it has a name in English as well.
While we're waiting, David Oliva. Okay, anybody else want to choose a color and suggest it and describe it?
Okay, let me.
Yeah, quick.
Okay.
Yeah, Anastasia. Yeah.
I think I'm going with. Oh my God, I forgot the word right now.
Just use any word.
Yes. I'm going to go with dark bloody brown.
Okay, so the final one we did today is dark bloody brown. What color do we think Anastasia is describing? Yeah, Sandra says 3. Look, look, everybody is saying 3.
See?
Hey, you did it. Good. Okay. The point of this exercise was that it's a good thing we have numbers, because there can be a lot of variation, and describing visually is very difficult. So that was the point of this exercise. That's why
I'm sorry, I ruined it for you.
No, you say, yeah, well, yes. But yeah, so colors can look very different, and Unless you're Anastasia, we may have mistakes.